We are here with my boy, Ryan. This man joined the program a couple months ago and he's just been absolutely killing it ever since. So first off, do you want to give him a little bit of an intro about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, guys, what's up? Ryan Little, 21 from south of Atlanta, back in Georgia, United States. Been living in Bangkok for the last 2 years. And yeah, just recently started working with Linden just about 2 months ago, just trying to focus and hone in on YouTube just because it's so powerful compared to like TikTok, Instagram. It's getting a lot more trust and build a lot more traction, a lot faster with higher quality leads.
100%. First off, do you want to kind of walk me through like what you're currently doing on YouTube? Like what is your channel about? How do you help people and what's your offer?
So right now, my channel is mainly just focused on helping people get to at least 10,000 a month anywhere in the world with remote sales, just helping them go from like no knowledge whatsoever to finding and landing a goldmine offer where they're able to either set or close deals as an appointment setter or a closer.
Nice. And how important would you say that YouTube is for your business like right now?
I would say it's like the most important thing, just because like otherwise not that many people like know what I do, how to do it, or even trust me at all. So like YouTube, they're able to spend a lot more time with me than like Instagram or like Facebook or anything like that. And they can actually just watch a lot of my content, see like who I'm about, if they trust me, if they want to work with me, and they're able to actually decide for themselves whether or not they want to do X, Y, and Z or not.
100%. I would love to ask, like before we started working together, what were some of the things that you were doing? Like, how were you creating content? You know, what were you kind of struggling with? I would love to know a bit more about like where you were before we signed on.
So I was actually struggling with the two most important things, the title and the thumbnail. So right when I started working with you, that was something that leveled up like 100x from like, I mean, you saw my thumbnails, it was literally just a picture throughout the video. And then the title was just something I was like, okay, this sounds good to me. But in reality, it was trash, absolutely trash. So appreciate it.
For sure. And I think that's like where most people mess up is like simply just the title and thumbnail. It's like such an easy thing to get right, or it's such an easy thing to get wrong. And I think it's so simple, but it's difficult to get right. You have to understand how like human psychology works, basically to create curiosity, also stop someone scrolling on the homepage and get them to click on the video, and also target the right prospect because you don't want to be getting people that are bad leads for the business. As far as like your title and thumbnail, like where do you think that you were going wrong beforehand?
Yeah, previously for the title and thumbnail, I would just try to put something that I thought was cool. Like, oh, this makes sense to me. But to everyone else, it probably looked like I'd never, like, what is this video? It doesn't even make sense. So it was like kind of a clickbait title and wouldn't have the thumbnail on par with what's actually going on in the video. Like, for example, like helping people to get from 0 to 10,000 a month with remote sales, I would put a picture of like me and my girlfriend. Like, it just didn't make sense.
No, that makes sense. Like when it comes to title and thumbnail, that's really what you want to do. You want to visualize that dream outcome and get like what is the person who's interested in like remote sales? What does that freedom look like that they're achieving, right? Probably looks like right now, like we're at a villa in Thailand, swimming in the morning on a Thursday. It's like nice, you know, we have freedom. And I think that that's like what other people who are interested in high ticket sales want. So that should be naturally more of the titles and thumbnails. So I'm curious in terms of like monetization before and after, like what results have you kind of seen in terms of working with us and closing clients from YouTube?
So the last 2 months, I closed nearly 40,000 in revenue, a little bit less in terms of cash collected, but just skyrocketed from having no booked calls whatsoever to my calendar like filling up pretty quickly. And all it really took was like just kind of working with you on like even the minor things, like you've been able to kind of help me with that as well. So really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no. And I think like with sales calls and everything, you're obviously a sales guy. How have you kind of noticed the difference between calls coming in? Because you worked on multiple offers that get more cold traffic versus organic traffic. Like how have you seen the actual quality of sales calls, but also clients coming in from that?
Yeah, the clients have greatly increased in quality from like just people who are like stuck in university. They're not making any money whatsoever. And they were also very confused on like what I actually do. Like they thought I was like selling TV remotes. So weren't the best sales calls I could have gotten, but now they understand exactly A to Z what I do, how I can help them and everything in between. So the sales calls are a lot more easily manageable and a lot more easy to close than the ones I previously had before.
100%. I think that leads to such a better client experience. Like it's the same thing that like we have, like we get clients like you, people that know me and vibe with like my personality. They know me and they're like, I could be friends with this guy, and have that client over a client that comes in off of paid traffic and is just like, I'm here for this result. I want to put in the least amount of work possible and I want this result or else I'm going to refund. That's a cold prospect. They're coming in with a ton of skepticism. Whereas a warm prospect comes in with really, they just feel good. They're like, hey, I like this guy. I know I'm going to get good results and I'm ready to just rock and roll. And I think that's really powerful. But I'm curious, what's been the video that's made you the most money so far? And how much have you made from a single video?
Very good question. I believe it was one of the guides that you helped me kind of think of, like in terms of like the title and the layout and the scripting for the video. I think that was probably the best video that brought me the most leads and the most cash flow. I mean, in terms of that video, I mean, you just kind of helped me with like the title, the thumbnail, the intro, which is very important, right? So I think I was like missing out greatly beforehand on the intros. The intros I did were like absolute trash. Like they would just be a whole different topic than what the video was all about.
I think I literally gave you that advice like a few days ago, right? To re-record an entire intro because it was shot just like in a dark room. And now we reshot it at this villa and it's like that intro is going to perform 10x better. Like that video will get way, way more views and way more potential prospects than a video starting off in like a dark room. Because especially for business content, especially if you're going more like a biz op market like you are, it's a lot about portraying that you're living the dream outcome. Cool. I would love to know kind of how have you learned to structure a video in order to kind of get sales, actually build trust with prospects? How do you think about that? And what have you kind of learned from our end on that?
I would say just the intro, just literally kind of giving them like the kind of expectations for the video, as well as giving and structuring the value in a lot better way than what I was previously doing before. So that way it's a lot more structured. They can understand it better. The retention is better. So that way when they do hop on sales calls, they know exactly like what I'm actually helping them with to take them to where they want to go. Because before then, it would just be all over the place, like with my videos. Like I would be talking about Thailand, I would be talking about girls, and then I would kind of mix in a bit of remote sales. But now it's just like fully structured, right to the point. There's full clarity, and it's a lot better for the clients to understand like how I can actually help them.
100%. Yeah, I think like if you give a lot of free value, I think that helps a lot too. It's like give some free value, be like, here's how you find an offer with high ticket sales. If someone gets a ton of value from your free stuff, they'll likely be like, how good is his paid stuff? And I think that's something that I think you do pretty well. You give a lot of value in your videos. And I think that's what I try to encourage for most of our clients as well. So you're a business owner, you don't want to do all of this stuff yourself. You don't want to be editing your videos. You don't want to be making your thumbnails. How have you kind of found the process of building a content team?
So beforehand, I had people in my DMs all the time, like, hey, I want to do your thumbnails. I want to do your scripts, all this type of stuff. And I never really get to trust them because like when I did give them a chance, it was complete garbage. But with you, I had like people who are certified, like they're right to the point. It's pretty cheap as well. And they're very high quality. So having that like just with you, I mean, that's just a game changer. So I don't have to like go through all these people DMing me, seeing what's good, what's bad. And now I just have everything kind of just handed to me.
That's so powerful, especially as you realize that like you can get someone so much better than yourself for such a cheap price. For our clients, we're getting them thumbnail designers for like $40 a thumbnail. Normally people are paying like $5 on Fiverr, but they're getting horrible results. A good thumbnail typically costs like $250 to $300, but we have people like that are just like insanely cheap for the value that they add. And I think like that's one of the biggest things that helps people just like absolutely blow up. In terms of like a YouTube funnel, how are you thinking about funneling a top of funnel prospect who doesn't really know about you, doesn't know a lot about your offer? How are you kind of thinking about funneling them down through the YouTube channel into a sales call?
So you help me out with that as well. Instead of just having a book to call in every single video, you help me kind of figure out like putting a certain link in a certain video to go to another video, which then is more of like a VSL type of video. In that VSL, in the description, there's like a book to call link, which has been helping a lot, as you can see.
Nice. Yeah, that's dope, bro. No, I think your channel is going to crush it. Like over time, as we scale up as well, like, bro, we got to get you to 100K a month ASAP. In terms of like the sales calls that you've been taking, how have you noticed kind of the objection shifting from cold prospects to warmer, more ready to buy prospects? Like how have you kind of seen the organic guys versus the cold traffic guys?
With the inbound leads that I'm getting, I'm even closing some through just DMs. Like they found me on Instagram. They're like, yo, man, I'm ready to buy right now. Like the leads are just a lot more hot than what they used to be. And I'm also getting a lot better results just because they know exactly what they're getting into. Because when I first started out by myself, people were joining and I had no idea what they were doing. And I've had like maybe 2 refunds just because like they didn't know the exact thing that they were getting into. So they didn't have full clarity, which led them to go astray and didn't really succeed. But now they have full clarity on what they're getting into. They know what they want. They're hot, they trust me, and they get a lot better results than what they were getting previously.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so valuable. Interesting. So in terms of like the plan to scale your YouTube channel, like I know what we've kind of talked about, but can you kind of explain that to people? Like how are you planning to scale your YouTube channel?
Just how you're helping me right now. Right now we're doing like just testing out a bunch of different concepts of videos, different titles, different types of structured videos. We're gonna see what clicks, what doesn't click, and then later on we're gonna just focus on what clicked and what actually worked.
100%. And yeah, I think that testing phase is so important. Like a lot of people, they'll just make the same content for literally years sometimes. Like people will make content that's getting like 100 views a video, 200 views a video, even like 1,000 views a video. And they're like, eventually it's gonna work out. But the thing is, if you don't change anything, it's not going to. Like like you really have to make changes. And I think that's something that we're constantly doing for our clients, but we're also, doing for you as well, where we're looking at like, okay, let's try some case studies, see how well these convert. Let's do this VSL video, see how that works. Let's try some more top of funnel vlogs. Let's try to really capture as many people as we possibly can, right? And constantly testing to do that and to reach that goal. So I'm curious, like, what is your kind of content like split into in terms of like top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content?
I have some vlogs at the top of funnel, then I have guides, then I have some case studies as well. So they'll find me on the vlogs, watch some guides, and then finally watch the testimonials. And then at that point, they're pretty much sold. That's when they hop on a sales call with me, and then we get the deal in the door, and it's a good life.
Well, cool, man. I mean, I think last question would be just, what would you say to someone who's kind of thinking about joining the program, but maybe hasn't pulled the trigger yet?
I would say you're always going to get the same progress and the same results. You're always going to be in the same exact spot until you decide for yourself that it's time to make a change and it's time to level up, because you're literally guaranteed to stay in the same exact spot you're in right now until you decide for yourself it's time to take that next step.
100%. Well, dude, I'm excited to crush it for you. We're going to keep running up the channel. And if you haven't, we'd love to help you grow your YouTube channel. Ryan, I appreciate you. It's always a pleasure. Yes, sir. Peace.